Hello everyone, and welcome to my presentation of a public service management and leadership concern. And I have identified an issue or a change that must occur within a federal governmental agency. The federal agency that I believe needs to be better examined is the TSA, as many of us know it, which is the Transportation Security Administration. I think they have a bad reputation, and we all go to airports and we essentially fear the process that we are going to undertake because of the reputation and past experiences we've all endured with the TSA. I think they can be better perceived and received if they would treat others better and they'd explain themselves a little more thoroughly when it comes to their procedures. The thesis for my presentation is that the TSA needs to improve their overall performance and needs a little more examining by the federal government as to how they operate. My proposed changes for the TSA is that I wish they could provide better customer service, they could humanize their intrusive searches, and that they can have the most optimal training instilled in their officers. Governmental employees must remember that they serve the public. They take an oath to treat everyone professionally and to always handle their business in a very respectful and very thorough manner. I utilized an example from Maslow with his human motivation because he believes in rewarding the employees for positive performances. He also believes in holding them accountable for negative performances. That's very important when it comes to improving customer service. We want our employees to know that their job is important to them, their service is important to the company, and the treatment is important to the customer. Another example that I used was from the theorist Levine with his organizational decline and cutback management. Companies must adequately staff their businesses in order to succeed. If they expect the best performance from their employees, they must understand that employees need the supplemental staffing in order to better serve the customer. Some examples that I also added for improving customer service from this governmental agency is that I believe they can expedite the process by staffing more employees. I believe that they need to show more appreciation to their customers for paying their salaries. And I think something else that could be helpful in the screening process is that they should provide better display samples as to what is expected of the people prior to arriving at the screening area. My next theme can be very personal for many people. That's the involving minimal intrusion aspect when it comes to screening the people by the TSA. This is a very important process, and understandably the TSA is there to protect all travelers. However, I think that their job can be done better with the leadership who is actively monitoring their performance. That goes back to Taylor's theory of scientific management, whereas he was the type of supervisor who would roll up his sleeves and get down on the front line and help his employees do the job right, do the job as best as they could. And he knew that they were trained how to do it in case anything went wrong. He can hold them accountable because he showed them personally how it was to be done. This is very important for such an intrusive or such a personal search conducted upon someone, because supervisors need to be there watching their employees. As in my profession, when we are searching people, we are issued body-worn cameras, and I am very appreciative for these cameras because they record our every action. I think body-worn cameras can be a good solution, and as a taxpayer, I would not have a problem paying for those because I do not want anyone to have any negative experiences with the TSA. Another portion for this intrusion theme is that from the theory of Mr. Rohr with his regime values. He was there to reinforce ethics, norms, and values, and he wanted to instill positive interaction with his employees. He was also quick to reiterate consequences if those rules were violated. This is important because, again, this can be a very personal experience for someone to have a complete stranger searching them, and they have no choice but to go forward with the process if they wish to travel. Active supervision is important because that will be the best way to monitor each and every employee as well as each and every traveler. My last theme is the increasing employee education. This is very important because we must give the employees the tools necessary to be effective, be efficient, be productive, and to be successful. As with Gulick and his POSCorp, we need to arm our employees or augment our employees with the adequate planning, organizing, staffing, directing, coordinating, reporting, and budgeting that they need to be successful. This is an issue that the management has to oversee, and it's their direct responsibility to make sure their employees are taken care of so that they perform at their best. Another theorist that I researched was Appleby with his government is different. This is very important for this specific assignment because we are to identify a governmental agency with a concern that must be changed. In his article, he specifically explains that everyone is different and not everyone is cut out for governmental employment. As supervisors, they must select and retain the best candidates, and they must train them so that they can keep the company free of liability, injury, or any other negative aspects that can hurt the organization. In my conclusion, I believe that the TSA does their best in treating everyone respectfully. They have overcome adversity and complaints such as sexual harassment, abusing disabled persons, and retaliating against rude or uncooperative patrons. I believe that every employee will ultimately dictate their own reputation, and an example of this is with Douglas McGregor with his Theory X and Theory Y. He illustrates that if employees are able to take care of themselves, they do not need that supervision, as well as those employees who need the constant supervision must have it applied so that the employee, the supervisor, and the company can succeed in their everyday objectives. Thank you for listening.